Hi everyone, this is another timeless message for the collective, and the topic I want to talk about today is why you shouldn't avoid your spiritual journey. Now, this message is really for the seekers who weren't really looking to find themselves on a spiritual journey, but nevertheless, here you are because you've gone through some form of an enlightenment or a forced spiritual awakening. Now, where does this support really come from? It could be your ancestors, it could be, your spirit team, it could be a direct calling from the divine. Nevertheless, you are supposed to follow the trail that you are kind of getting intuitively and fulfill your tasks along the way, which do lead you to your greater mission and calling. Now, many individuals on this path avoid the calling simply because it might not be the path that you feel aligned with originally when you come to a spiritual path. And also, you may feel like there are certain things that you have to do on a spiritual journey that just don't resonate with your soul. For example, meditation. That's a big one that everybody struggles with. It might not be initially your cup of tea, but in order to have a successful spiritual journey, you do need to become acquainted and get comfortable with a regular practice of meditation. Now, what I wanted to talk about in this message really is what happens when you don't honor this call that you're getting. So there's a couple of things that you can expect if you are dragging your feet on your spiritual journey, especially when you have a higher calling and you are avoiding the call. So the two key things that you can expect if you are resisting your journey. First and foremost, everything will start to feel misaligned. So your timeline will start to feel off. You feel like you're stuck in a different dimension and things just aren't making sense. You start calling in unfortunate events even that ultimately come in as what we could say in tarot as tower moments from the universe to push you along your path. So it starts off really gentle, but you'll start to get subtle hints on your journey that you have to follow through. But let's say you start to resist it, you will get hit with forced events that leave you no choice but to follow through. Now, the idea here is not to scare you, but rather encourage you to be more attentive towards the signs that you are actually getting. Because ultimately, resisting the path not only delays your journey, but you're also going to be put in circumstances that if you could foresee these in advance, I'm sure you would want to avoid them and make sure you're doing the best that you could to follow through on your spiritual path. Now, let me just share some examples with you of what I really mean about, you feeling a little forced along on your path if you resist the journey. Let's say that you are getting signs everywhere to start meditating. And you are just dragging your feet and you want to keep putting this off because you don't think you can build a daily practice of meditation. The call will start to get louder and louder. So for example, you will start to see that certain things that you want to engage in are no longer happening for you, so you have more time so you can meditate. But let's say you still avoid that and the resistance just persists. You may find yourself sitting at home with an injury, which leaves you with no choice but to call out to the divine and sit in meditation. Now, another example, which is not so extreme, is just to give you a sigh of relief so it doesn't seem too scary, is let's say you are on the spiritual path and you have a friend or friends that are no longer aligned with you energetically. It's time for you to let them go and you are feeling the nudge, but you're just not doing it because these friends have been around for years and years and they're very dear to you. Nevertheless, you just, continue to meet with them, but energetically they're no longer aligned with you. So the divine really needs them out of your life in order to get you, with new circumstances and energetic frequencies that are going to support you on the path. If you resist this nudge, you will find yourself in circumstances where you actually end up either arguing with these individuals, you have a fallout with each other, and you stop speaking to each other. Unfortunately, in these circumstances, the situation becomes rather difficult. So the advice really here is try and pay attention to the signs, help your own self out, and follow through with the intuitive nudges. It will really help you avoid these extreme circumstances, because it's either you do it gently or the band-aid will be ripped off for you so that you can be replanted where you really need to be. Now, the second reason you don't want to resist your calling is because you may have a divine inheritance lined up for you on this path of your higher calling. So when you step out on your journey, which has a higher calling, you are sometimes aligned with abundance and divine inheritance that is only gifted to you, and it only comes your way when you actually follow through with the tests and lessons and milestones on this journey. If you resist this journey, it's possible that things will become more difficult for you on your regular path, where you just aren't guaranteed the same level of abundance, which otherwise would be possible if you aligned with your highest timeline to support your divine mission. So the message here is kind of simple. You can avoid your spiritual journey, but understand that it will not be easy to get off this path. To veer off your spiritual path and your higher calling really means to invite all sorts of misalignment in your life. You can either choose a path of divine guidance, support, and abundance, or you might be inviting in pain, struggle, and suffering, which may eventually force you down the path of coming back to answer the call on your spiritual journey anyway. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this message was helpful. God bless.